Some people think they can say whatever they want behind a polite smile. But wait until you hear how my sister's husband tried to insult me at a family dinner without realizing I had recorded the whole thing. My name is Jonathan Reed. And trust me when I say I've dealt with disrespect before, but never anything quite as bold or as stupid as what happened that night. It all took place during what was supposed to be a simple family dinner at my sister Megan's house. One of those evenings where everyone brings a dish, the kids run wild, and the adults pretend everything is perfect even if it isn't. Megan had asked me to come early because she needed help with the grill. And since I'm the family cook, I didn't mind at all. I arrived with my usual portable toolkit, and inside that kit was a small digital recorder I use for work. I'd been doing home renovation consulting for years, recording notes and walkthroughs for clients, but that day I forgot to take it out after a job. And that tiny detail turned out to be the key to everything that came next. See, my sister's husband, Evan, had always been complicated. The kind of guy who thinks he's the smartest in the room, the funniest, the sharpest, even when he's painfully average and loud for no reason. He never liked that Megan trusted me more than him when it came to advice, whether it was finances, decisions, or home repairs. He always felt threatened, even if he tried to hide it behind forced jokes or fake compliments. I'd always ignored it, thinking it wasn't worth causing tension in the family. But little did I know he'd been waiting for an audience to really let loose. As the night went on, more people arrived, cousins, friends, neighbors, and the house filled with that noisy, chaotic warmth you only get during big family gatherings. Food was everywhere, laughter echoed, and everything seemed fine, until I had to step out to the porch to fix one of Megan's outdoor lights. I placed my toolkit on a side table, not realizing the recorder inside had accidentally turned on when the bag shifted. Meanwhile, Evan and two of his buddies, men I barely knew, stepped outside too, beers in hand, loud and loose-tunged. They didn't see me around the corner as I worked on the wiring half hidden behind the open sliding door. But the recorder in my bag? It heard everything. Evan started with the usual fake bravado, bragging about work, money, gym routines, the usual nonsense, until one of his friends asked casually, "So what's Megan's brother like?" "He seems like a quiet guy." And that's when the real Evan came out. He chuckled, that arrogant, mocking laugh he always tried to hide around the family, and said, "Oh, Jonathan? Please, he acts smart, but he's barely holding himself together financially. His business is basically handyman work with fancy words. Megan only pretends he's successful because she feels bad for him." One of his friends laughed. The other winced like he knew a line had been crossed, but Evan kept going, fueled by ego and beer. Honestly, the guy is pathetic. Always alone, always working small jobs, acting like he's this genius. If Megan didn't baby him, he'd crash and burn. And the way he talks? Like he knows better than everyone else? It's embarrassing. He had no idea I was close enough to hear, and even less idea the recorder had captured every word. My first instinct was to march out and confront him right then. But I thought about Megan, my sister, who had always supported me, defended me, trusted me. I didn't want to blow up her dinner or put her in the middle without a plan. So I stayed quiet, finished the light, and walked inside like nothing happened, even as my blood boiled under the calm expression I forced onto my face. Dinner went on, and Evan acted perfectly normal, laughing too loudly, pretending to be the charming host, talking over people, doing his usual routine. But every time he opened his mouth, I heard those earlier insults echoing in my head. After dessert, when the crowd had thinned, Megan asked everyone to gather for a small toast, something she liked to do at family dinners. As she spoke sweetly about gratitude and family, Evan wrapped an arm around her, looking like the picture of a loving husband, and it made me sick knowing the things he said behind her back. When she was done, she handed the floor to anyone who wanted to speak. Evan jumped in, of course he did, and made some embarrassing joke about my little repair business, trying to get laughs from the cousins. I smiled, but inside I thought, all right, you want the spotlight? You're about to get it. When he finished, I took a slow sip of water, set my glass down, and said, actually, there's something I want to share. The room quieted. I reached into my toolkit, the same one sitting silently on the porch earlier, and pulled out the small recorder. Evan's face twitched instantly, but he tried to keep his cool. Earlier today, I continued, this little thing was accidentally running, and it picked up a conversation outside, a very interesting one. Megan looked confused. Evan shifted, suddenly restless. Don't, he muttered under his breath, but it was too late. I pressed play. His voice filled the room loud and clear, dripping with arrogance and cruelty. He acts smart, but he's barely holding himself together. Pathetic, Megan only pretends he's successful. Embarrassing. You could have heard a pin drop. Megan's face drained of color, then flushed with anger so deep it could have cracked glass. Evan lunged forward, reaching for the recorder, shouting, "Stop! Stop!" That's taken out of context. But I stepped back calmly and said, "Actually, I think the context speaks for itself." His friends froze, ashamed and silent. The rest of the family stared at him like they were seeing him for the first time and not liking what they saw. Megan stood up slowly, shaking with fury, and said in a voice that was terrifyingly calm, "You talked about my brother like that? You humiliated him behind his back? In our home?" Evan stammered, sweating, trying to lie his way out, but Megan cut him off sharply. "Get out," she said. "Right now. Before I say something I'll regret." And that was it. He left, humiliated, exposed, his fake confidence shattered into pieces on the dining room floor. Later that night, Megan apologized to me with tears in her eyes, but I told her it wasn't her fault. People like Evan always reveal themselves eventually. Sometimes it just takes a recording to prove it. And as I drove home, I realized something important. The truth doesn't need defending. It just needs a voice. And that night, it finally had one.